Okay, so let's get right into this. We got tons of questions about cycling and belly fat.
Yeah,
And, everyone wants to know, can it really help you burn that stubborn belly fat? We took a deep dive into all the research you sent over.
absolutely.
And, well, the answer is it's a little more complicated than a simple yes or no.
That's right. It's
Okay.
definitely a link there, but it's not quite as simple as, some of those headlines might make you think.
Right.
To really understand it, I think we need to start with belly fat itself. You see, not all fat is created equal.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. I've heard this term visceral fat. Is that the same as belly fat?
Exactly. Visceral fat is the type of fat that surrounds your organs deep inside your abdomen.
Hmm.
It's different from the subcutaneous fat that's just beneath your skin.
Okay.
And this is the important part. Visceral fat is considered more dangerous because it's linked to an increased risk of some serious health problems, like heart disease,
Oh, wow.
type 2 diabetes, and even certain types of cancer.
So it's not just about, fitting into those genes, it's about our health.
Exactly.
So how does cycling fit into all of this?
Well, first off, cycling, like any exercise, burns calories.
Right.
And to lose any kind of fat, including visceral fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit, meaning you're burning more calories than you're consuming. So cycling can definitely contribute to that.
Okay, so that's that basic calorie burning aspect that we hear so much about.
Right.
But I'm sensing there's more to it.
You're absolutely right. Cycling goes beyond just burning calories during your ride. What's fascinating here is how cycling impacts your metabolism. Regular cycling, especially high-intensity interval training, those short bursts of intense pedaling followed by brief recovery periods,
Yes.
actually increases your body's need for oxygen even after your workout.
So wait, I can burn calories even after I've gotten off the bike? Tell me more about this afterburn effect.
Exactly. It's like your body is working overtime to recover and replenish, and that process requires energy, meaning you continue burning calories even after you've finished cycling.
So I'm getting more bang for my buck with each ride.
Ex-
Okay, that makes sense. So more calories burned during and after a ride?
Hmm.
But I also remember reading in those articles something about cycling and insulin.
Yes,
How does that play into all of this?
absolutely. This is where it gets even more interesting. Insulin is a hormone that helps your body regulate blood sugar levels.
Okay.
It acts like a key unlocking your cells to let glucose, the sugar from your food, enter and provide energy.
Okay.
Now, when you have insulin resistance, your cells become less responsive to insulin.
Got it.
It's like the lock is rusty and the key doesn't work as well. This can lead to elevated blood sugar levels and, you guessed it, increased fat storage,
Yeah.
particularly in the abdominal area.
Wow. So it's not just about, sweating it out. It's about making my cells work better.
Exactly.
That's a game changer. So how does cycling actually help with this whole insulin sensitivity thing?
Well, studies have shown that regular cycling can actually improve your insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
It's like cycling helps oil the lock, so to speak, making your cells more responsive to insulin, allowing glucose to enter more efficiently. This improved insulin sensitivity helps regulate blood sugar levels and can contribute to more effective weight management, including the reduction of belly fat.
So by cycling regularly, I'm not just burning calories, I'm actually improving how my body uses and stores energy. That's incredible. Are there any other ways that cycling kind of impacts belly fat? I know that stress can sometimes lead to overeating, and let's be honest, sometimes a good bike ride is my therapy.
You're hitting on another crucial point. Chronic stress, the kind that hangs around for days or weeks, can lead to increased levels of cortisol, a hormone that unfortunately can promote belly fat storage. So cycling can play a role here too. Not only can a good bike ride be a fantastic stress reliever, but the exercise itself can help lower cortisol levels, indirectly contributing to a reduction in belly fat.
Okay, so cycling checks a lot of boxes. It burns calories, boosts metabolism, improves insulin sensitivity, and helps manage stress.
That's right.
But let's get practical for a moment. What kind of cycling are we talking about here? Does a leisurely Sunday cruise through the park really help tackle that stubborn visceral fat?
While any physical activity is better than none, to really maximize those belly fat burning benefits, both intensity and duration matter. Higher intensity cycling burns more calories. Aiming for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity cycling most days of the week is a good starting point. And remember those high-intensity interval training sessions we talked about.
Yes.
Those are especially effective when it comes to boosting metabolism and burning calories.
So we're talking about pushing ourselves a bit, challenging those muscles, and incorporating those bursts of intense pedaling. But what about mixing up the terrain? Does it matter if we're on a flat road or tackling some hills? I'm guessing hills are our friends here.
You got it. Variety is key when it comes to cycling workouts. Varying your routes keeps things interesting and challenging, leading to greater calorie burn and overall fitness improvement. Hills in particular are great for building strength and endurance, which can further contribute to your weight loss goals.
So hills are our friends. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so hills are our friends. I got it. But before we kind of get too focused on the bike itself, you mentioned strength training in one of the articles.
Yes.
How does that fit into all of this?
That's an important point. Building muscle through strength training plays a crucial role in boosting your metabolism. The more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns at rest, even when you're not cycling.
So it's all about turning up the heat on that calorie-burning furnace.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the cycling, the intensity, the strength training. It's all starting to come together. But let's be realistic. It can't be all exercise and no attention to what we're eating right.
You're absolutely right. Cycling alone isn't a magic bullet.
Yeah.
A healthy diet is crucial for any weight loss journey, and that includes losing belly fat. Remember, it's all about creating that calorie deficit, and diet plays a huge role in that.
So what does a healthy diet actually look like in this context of cycling and belly fat?
Focus on whole, unprocessed foods,
Like fruits, vegetables, lean protein sources, and whole grains. These foods provide the nutrients your body needs to fuel your workouts and recover effectively. And just as importantly, limit processed foods, sugary drinks, and excessive alcohol, which can contribute to weight gain and hinder your progress.
So the classic advice holds true. A healthy diet and regular exercise go hand in hand. It's the dynamic duo for achieving our weight loss goals. But there's a question I have to ask. We've talked about targeting belly fat, but can you actually spot reduced fat?
Ah, yes. The age-old myth of spot reduction. Sadly, you can't target fat loss from specific areas of your body. When you lose weight, you lose it from all over. Think of it as a full-body fat-burning party, not a targeted attack on your belly.
That makes sense. So even though we're focusing on belly fat, the benefits of cycling extend to overall weight loss and improved body composition. But let's be honest, seeing results takes time and effort, especially when it comes to stubborn belly fat. What advice would you give to someone who's feeling discouraged?
Patience and consistency are key, my friend. Remember, you're in this for the long haul. Don't get discouraged if you don't see those abs popping overnight. Celebrate the small victories along the way, whether it's increased endurance, a faster pace, or simply feeling better in your clothes.
I love that, celebrating those non-scale victories. It's about progress, not perfection. But we focused a lot on the physical aspects. In one of the articles you shared, they talked about the mental and emotional benefits of cycling and how those can indirectly contribute to weight loss. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Absolutely. We've talked about how cycling can help reduce stress and lower cortisol levels, which is beneficial for weight management. But beyond that, cycling can have a profound impact on your mood and overall mental well-being. That feeling of freedom and accomplishment you get from a good ride, it's a real mood booster.
I can definitely relate to that. There's something about being out in nature, feeling the wind in your hair, that just melts away stress and makes you feel alive.
Exactly. And when you feel good mentally and emotionally, you're more likely to make healthy choices, stick to your fitness routine, and stay motivated on your weight loss journey. It's like a positive feedback loop.
So it's not just about pedaling away the pounds, it's about nurturing our minds and spirits as well. It's about finding that balance, both physically and mentally. But for those of us who are just starting out on this cycling journey, where do we begin?
Well, first and foremost, invest in a good bike that fits you properly and is comfortable to ride. There's nothing worse than starting off with a bike that's the wrong size or uncomfortable. Get a professional bike fitting if you can. It's worth it in the long run.
I've heard that from other cyclists as well. A good bike fit can make a world of difference. What other advice would you give someone starting out?
Start slow and gradually increase your distance and intensity. Don't try to conquer a mountain on your first ride. Listen to your body, take rest days when needed, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself a little bit more each time you ride. And remember, find what works for you. Some people love solo rides, others thrive in group settings. Explore different options and see what resonates with you.
There's a lot of great advice out there for beginners. But even with the best intentions, there might be days when motivation wanes. What advice would you give someone struggling to stay on track?
Don't be too hard on yourself. Everyone has off days. It's about progress, not perfection. Remember why you started in the first place. Reconnect with those initial goals and the feeling you get when you're on the bike. Try a new route, listen to a motivational podcast, or join a group ride. Sometimes all you need is a little spark to reignite that cycling fire.
That's a good point. Sometimes a change of scenery or a little social interaction can make all the difference. Speaking of change, you mentioned in one of the articles that there are potential downsides to cycling. Is there anything we should be aware of?
Absolutely. As with any form of exercise, there's always a risk of injury, from minor aches and pains to more serious accidents. It's important to warm up properly, listen to your body, and not push yourself beyond your limits.
Safety first, always.
Yeah,
And I imagine proper bike fit plays a role in injury prevention too.
you're absolutely right. A poorly fitted bike can lead to all sorts of problems, from knee pain to back issues. That's why that professional bike fitting is so important.
Good to know. Are there any other potential downsides we should consider?
Well, cycling can be quite time-consuming. It's not a quick workout you could squeeze in between meetings. You need to allocate time for it, especially if you're aiming for longer rides.
That's true. But I found that incorporating cycling into my daily commute or finding pockets of time for shorter rides throughout the week can help.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the weather. Depending on where you live, cycling might not be feasible year-round.
True, rain, snow, or extreme heat can put a damper on outdoor cycling plans. But there are always workarounds like indoor cycling classes or alternative exercise options when the weather's not cooperating.
Exactly. And let's be realistic. Cycling can be expensive. Bikes gear maintenance. Those costs can add up.
That's a valid point, but I think of it as an investment in my health and well-being. Plus, I'm saving money on gas and transportation costs.
That's a great way to look at it. And one final thing to consider is the social aspect. Cycling can be a solitary activity which might not appeal to everyone.
True. Some people thrive in group settings while others prefer to ride solo. The key is to find what works for you and embrace it. If you're craving more social interaction, there are plenty of cycling groups and clubs out there.
That's right. So while there are potential downsides to cycling, most of them can be mitigated with proper planning, preparation, and a realistic mindset. And let's be honest, the benefits far outweigh the risks.
I couldn't agree more. Cycling is an incredible activity for our physical and mental well-being, and it can be a powerful tool for weight loss, especially when it comes to that stubborn belly fat. But it's not a magic bullet. It takes effort, consistency, and a healthy lifestyle overall.
Well said. But with the right approach, cycling can be a transformative journey that enriches your life in countless ways. You might even discover a hidden talent for conquering mountains.
Or maybe just a newfound appreciation for the simple pleasure of a bike ride. But before we wrap things up, I'd be remiss not to address the elephant in the room, the mental game. It's not just about pedaling, it's about believing in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals.
You've hit on a crucial point. It's about cultivating a positive attitude, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and celebrating every victory along the way.
Because, let's be honest, the journey to a healthier, fitter you is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's going to have its ups and downs. But with the right mindset, you can overcome any obstacle and emerge stronger, both physically and mentally. And that's a victory worth celebrating. You know, speaking of journeys, I remember you mentioning something in one of the articles about the environmental impact of cycling.
Yeah,
Something I hadn't really considered before.
it's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in, the personal benefits of cycling, but it's important to think about the bigger picture.
Right.
And like most things, it's not always a simple answer.
Right, on the surface, it seems like an eco-friendly way to get around, but I'm guessing it's more complicated than that.
Exactly. Think about the materials used to make the bikes, the manufacturing processes, the transportation of goods. It all has an environmental footprint.
Right. And even the clothes we wear, the energy bars we consume,
Absolutely.
that all has to factor in.
You're exactly right. It's not just about hopping on a bike and calling it a day. It's about being mindful of the choices we make.
So it's about taking a more sustainable approach to cycling. What does that actually look like?
Well, it means, considering the full life cycle of our gear from production to disposal. It means supporting brands that prioritize eco-conscious practices and materials. And it means advocating for cycling-friendly infrastructure that encourages more people to choose bikes over cars.
That makes sense. So it's not about, beating ourselves up. It's about being informed and making choices that feel right.
Precisely. And here's the exciting part. The more people embrace cycling, the more demand there will be for sustainable practices within the industry. It's a positive feedback loop.
So more cyclists lead to more eco-conscious choices, which leads to a healthier planet for everyone.
Exactly.
Which in turn creates a more cycling-friendly world.
It's a beautiful cycle.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into cycling and belly fat, we've uncovered some pretty amazing insights.
Absolutely. We've debunked those myths, explored the science, and discovered that cycling is so much more than just a physical activity. It's a journey of self-discovery, a connection to nature, and a force for positive change.
And it all starts with that first pedal stroke.
That's right.
So to everyone listening, what are you waiting for? Get out there, explore, challenge yourself, and enjoy the ride.
And remember, as you pedal towards a healthier, happier future, you consider how your choices impact the world around you.
That's a fantastic message to leave our listeners with. Until next time, keep those wheels spinning, those minds expanding, and those hearts open to the possibilities. Happy cycling.